So digital citizenship is really important for classrooms because students use digital tools for their learning, both in the classroom and outside of the classroom, and because students use digital tools for communication amongst their peers, so it's something that's going to be affecting them for years. Digital citizenship refers to responsible use of technology, and it's including but not limited to computers, the internet, iPads, cell phones, pretty much any device that a student might have access to. And it's important to recognize digital citizenship, a distinction between good and bad digital citizenship. So, good digital citizenship engages students, shows students how to connect, and it shows students how to empathize with other students. It's important that when they're talked to about digital citizenship, that it's applicable to their lives and that they can see the connection and see how it can be an important tool for their lives. Bad digital citizenship entails cyberbullying. It also includes a lack of knowledge on using the internet safely and bad social media usage. Again, it's not that we don't want students to feel encouraged to use digital tools, it's that we want them to know how to use them appropriately. And even social media is used in classrooms these days. For example, Twitter is a really popular tool used in high school, but it's important to allow students to understand how to use it appropriately. And of course, this can kind of circle back to the first bullet point of cyberbullying, which of course we don't want students to encourage to do, but we also want them to know how to protect themselves from those kind of things. So it's important that we show this distinction to students. So engagement when talking about digital citizenship to students is really important because, like I said previously, students need to know that this applies to their lives. And I think that if they have that understanding, they're more likely to take it more seriously. One activity you can do with your students is to have students create tutorials on how to use the internet appropriately or digital tools. And this can kind of help going back. I mean, that's just good teaching. When somebody teaches something to somebody else, it gives them a deeper understanding of that. And you can also have students look up scams to understand the dangers that exist when you don't use the internet appropriately. One thing that I found really interesting in my research about digital citizenship is teaching students to connect and teaching students that the goal of media and the goal of the internet is to connect with others, again in a positive way. But there's a lot of times that digital tools can actually have kids be more disconnected from others. So one thing to encourage is to have a balance. And so you can encourage pauses, planned pauses throughout the day, teach them about how to form these habits, teach them about even when they're at home, stepping away from social media just to give themselves a break. Or I know there's some schools that do encourage like a whole day without using any sort of digital tools to teach students how to use these tools in their lives, but have a sort of balance. And the other part of connection is, of course, privacy, teaching students how to create good passwords, how to make sure they keep track of their passwords is a major one, but also just making sure that students understand why they need to have privacy and understand the consequences if they're not careful about those kind of things. And another thing about digital citizenship is really teaching kids to empathize. Empathy is actually really important when learning about using digital tools because so much of communication amongst human beings comes from facial expressions, tones, vocal cues, basically things that you get one-on-one or on phone calls, but a lot of kids are not communicating this way. So teaching kids that you don't always know how somebody is feeling based on how they communicate on social media or in other formats. And so understanding that you should empathize with others And of course, teaching students about copyright goes along with empathy, teaching students about why that's important and respecting others' property, even amongst their classmates. So this concludes my presentation, and these are my references. Thank you.